Madam, I plan to take a concubine. I want to take Lady Zhou of the Zhou clan. She is a noble lady of the former dynasty, you've met her before. When I was conquering the land with the emperor, I risked my life every single day. Now that I am a duke, what is wrong with taking a marquis's daughter? Look at old Han's family. Those illiterate peasants have all taken new wives. Even the earl's daughters are being taken as second wives. What was bound to happen has finally arrived. At 38, I have suffered with him for half my life. It is time to enjoy some peace. My lord has worked hard for half his life. It is indeed time to enjoy himself. Since joining the army at 17, over 20 years and 100 battles, you have been titled a duke and awarded honors. Never mind a marquis's daughter. Even a royal princess would be a fitting match for your merit. Madam, you agree? Why wouldn't I agree? My lord has achieved fame and fortune. I am respected here at home. But who do I owe it to? Is it not all earned by my lord at the risk of his life? The year I married him, he was from a ruined family. I was just a country girl. When he went to war, I held down the fort. When he was wounded, I brewed his medicine. During those 3 years of hardship, I did all the dirty work and never let him worry for a single day. Madam, rest assured. Even if I marry 100 women, you will always be the first wife. No one will ever surpass you. As long as my lord acknowledges my contributions, that is enough. I must acknowledge them. Then, I also want to ask my lord for a peace of mind. Our eldest son, Qingye, is 19. He has been training with you in the barracks for 3 years. I would like to request that he be titled the heir apparent. Of course. I will submit the memorial tomorrow. There is one more thing. Please, my lord, drink this bowl of sterility potion. Are you mad? My lord, don't be angry. Hear me out first. Lady Zhou is 18 this year. She was once the daughter of a marquis. She was raised in luxury and prestige. Why would such a person marry you as a concubine? For what? For your old age? For your bad temper? She wants your title. Your power. But Zhou Jia has miscalculated. Your title as duke was earned with your life. It is up to you to decide who inherits it. If you drink this potion, then after Lady Zhou enters the house, she won't have any ulterior motives if she can't bear a child. When she realizes she can't conceive and starts a fuss, you can just blame it on me. Say it was this poisonous wife of yours who did it. You stay clean. Let it all be my fault. But think about the alternative. If Lady Zhou enters and gives birth to a son, won't she think, why can't my son inherit the title? She is highborn and yet serves as your concubine. Why should her son be lower than Qingye? Then she will cause trouble, and her family will follow suit. The censors will suspect you of favoring a concubine over your wife. The emperor will scold you for failing to manage your own household. You fought battles all your life. In your old age, do you really want to play mind games with women? Our son Qingye follows the martial path, and Qingping follows the literary path. This is a critical time for them. We cannot let such a thing ruin our children's futures. Heaven has been kind to me. It gave me 2 smart sons and a sweet daughter. The children are not just my protection. They are also the duke's only few weaknesses. I'll drink it. I suffered half my life with the duke. Now that he's successful, he wants the noble Lady Zhou of the former dynasty as his woman. I agreed, and at the same time, I handed him a bowl of sterility potion. I've fought for a lifetime. Why should I be schemed against in my old age? Thinking their grandson can inherit my title? Dreaming. Exactly. Our 3 children also followed you through your campaigns, enduring all kinds of hardships. This dukedom must naturally be enjoyed by our own son. Madam, you have thought of everything. I will never let anyone suggest I favor a concubine over you. Madam, please trust me. I have always known that my lord is not an ungrateful man like those in Luqing. That crude man from Luqing, originally a bricklayer, his wife suffered so much alongside him. Once he became successful, he took a concubine who was the daughter of a ruined official. Not even 6 months after she arrived, that wife, Lingling, was tormented until she was neither human nor ghost. That kind, wealthy woman, who suffered with her man for half a lifetime, ended up in such a state. This face of mine, weathered by 20 years of wind and blades. My eyes are no longer clear. His gaze on me has changed from the focus of the past to one of indifference, and even frequent flashes of fleeting disgust. When will Lady Zhou enter the house? After Qingye is officially titled the heir. How about we let her in then? I will go write the petition for the title right now. When he went off to war back then, I stood at the village entrance to see him off. He looked back at every step. Back then, his eyes were full of only me. Now, his eyes hold only a disdain he doesn't even bother to hide. Such a person can only share hardships, not riches. Go and bring me the account books. Daughter, from now on, you must learn to manage the family's assets. Mother, father won't agree to it. He will give them to us. While there's still a shred of guilt left in his heart, we must quickly secure the family properties. In the future, no matter how many noble women he wants to take in, let him be. At 38, I have become strong. My eldest son can be relied upon. The other son studies well, and my little daughter is obedient. From now on, I will live for myself. I wasn't surprised that he had the mind to take a concubine. Those old friends who conquered the world with him Which of them didn't take concubines once they became successful? So I was prepared long ago. I made him drink that sterility potion. That day, I went to the North Marquis Manor to visit my old friend, Lingling. Having not seen her for 3 months, she had grown so thin she was unrecognizable. Lingling lay alone in bed, her face sallow. Promotions, wealth, and the death of the first wife. This seems to be our fate. That wench wore red on her first day here. My husband said she's just a child and doesn't know better. He asked why I was making a fuss with her. Later, she was ignorant every single day. Coming late for morning greetings was ignorance. Eating my bird's nest soup was ignorance. Contradicting me in front of guests was ignorance. My husband told me to be more patient. She even framed me for causing her miscarriage. But she wasn't even pregnant at all. Yet Lu Qing, that blind fool, slapped me to the ground without a second thought. He not only called me a poisonous woman, but also confined me to my quarters, and stripped me of my household management power. If your duke has such intentions, never let those wenches from the former dynasty through the door. They've fallen into the mud, so they'll grab onto any straw to climb back up. They have all sorts of methods, and no sense of shame. We can't win against them. Fortunately, your husband isn't that kind of man. You are lucky. In the eyes of the current duke, I am just an old piece of clothing. Not torn, still wearable, but no longer bright and new. He wants to wear something new. He's achieved success. It's time to enjoy it. As for me, I'm just a roadblock. Lady Zhou, the noble daughter of the former dynasty, from 5 generations of wealth and prestige, raised in the lap of luxury. Even though she's in trouble now, with that refined air of hers, even with my status as the duke's wife, I can't help but feel inferior. I understand men like him too well. A man who rose from the mud and suddenly became rich, is most afraid of others calling him unsophisticated. Marrying a noblewoman is both a symbol of status and the best shortcut to shed the image of a crude, peasant soldier. So he wants to welcome a noble lady into the house. Firstly, to show those stuck-up old officials. And secondly, his urgent desire for pleasure has taken over. And me, the crude chaff wife from his humble days, he has long since grown tired of. When Lady Zhou entered the house, my eldest son, Qingya, had just been titled heir. She knelt to serve tea, but her eyes were like sharp knives. Concubine Zhou seems resentful. Madam, you misunderstand. I am more than happy to serve the duke. Is it because the heir was titled so early that you are unhappy? Madam has misunderstood me. Madam's eldest son is titled heir. How could I be anything but happy? Enough, madam. I was just teasing you. Concubine Zhou, my duke is 43 this year, and is quite a crude man. You are a young noble lady in your prime. Why would you willingly be his concubine? Is it true admiration for my duke? Or are you after the wealth of this manor? Though this guy is a brute, he still has some self-awareness. I quit while I was ahead, and intentionally rewarded her with a pair of cheap bracelets. Although the duke was cautious of Lady Zhou, it didn't stop him from enjoying her. And, for a crude man who suffered half his life, the gentle tenderness of a highborn lady, and her understanding nature, must be intoxicating. As expected, the duke soon fell for her. He not only made an exception to accompany her back to her parents' home, but he also granted her every wish. He even broke the rules to let her live in her own courtyard, with her own servants and maids. She even had a sedan chair for outings. Her display of status was no less than mine, the wife of the duke. Watching the flow of expenses for Lady Zhou's courtyard, I remained calm. Not only did I not stop it, but I even intentionally added more. After Lady Zhou gained a firm footing, she indeed used those cheap bracelets to make a scene. As the grand wife of a duke, how could you give such cheap bracelets to a concubine? Aren't you afraid of being a laughingstock? My lord, have you forgotten? This pair of bracelets was bought by you with a reward when you were just a low officer. You bought them specifically for me. I have carried them with me all these years. To me, these bracelets are more precious than any rare treasure. Concubine Zhou doesn't understand the significance of these bracelets to me. I can understand that, but how could my lord forget? It was my mistake. Madam and the duke shared many hardships. Naturally, Madam's place as the wife is unshakable. But when the duke was conquering the land with the emperor, those must have been the darkest of times. Ordinary people wouldn't want to remember them. Why must Madam always bring up the duke's painful past? Lady Zhou is right. You always bring up the past. Isn't it just to make me feel guilty? Don't mention those old stories ever again. 26 years as husband and wife. We survived trials by fire together. Now, I'm not even allowed to mention it. How dare you hit her? Lady Zhou, your family fell on hard times, and I actually felt pity for you. Only today do I realize that you deserve this fate. It's not unfair at all. What do you mean, madam? She says those days were dark, and shouldn't be mentioned. But who was with you during those days? I went through the fires with you. I waded through the oceans with you. Now that you've achieved fame, those days have suddenly become dark. Painful memories that shouldn't be mentioned? Then let me ask you, what if the emperor thinks the same way? The emperor rules the world. When he looks at you old officials, who are illiterate and crude in behavior, constantly bringing up the old days, when you took blades for him, Does the emperor also find it annoying? Does he also think those were dark times and painful memories that shouldn't be mentioned? Meanwhile, those officials of the former dynasty are refined and elegant, knowing when to advance or retreat. They never talk about such things. They spend their days with the emperor discussing poetry and art, with gentle words. As time passes, the emperor looks at you group of crude men. Doesn't he find you more and more an eyesore? My lord, you resent me for bringing up the past to make you feel guilty. But have you ever considered that Lady Zhou wants you to reject the past, not because she cares about you, but because she wants to dig up your roots? What are your roots? It's the merit of supporting the emperor. It's 26 years of risking your life. Once those roots are dug up, what are you? Nothing but a crude, vulgar brute. By then, who will be the ones discussing poetry with the emperor? Who from the Zhou family can make the emperor happy? The Zhou family women. Duke, listen well. She doesn't hate me. She hates all of you peasants. If it weren't for you all rebelling with the emperor, she would still be the high and mighty marquis's daughter. Now she has to kneel and serve you. Do you think she's truly content in her heart? She can't touch your title. So she messes with your head. She makes you reject your chaff wife, makes you forget your origins, and alienates you from your old brothers in arms. When all of you are isolated and alone, the Zhou family will make their comeback. You are making baseless accusations. I am? Then swear it. Swear you don't have a single bit of resentment in your heart. When you're serving him, don't you ever think, why do I have to do this? My lord, I am being wronged. I am truly being wronged. My lord, remember when the emperor was surrounded at Wazi Slope? 300 of you fought to the death for 3 days and nights. Only 47 survived. The emperor said he would never forget your favor for as long as he lived. And now, those descendants of the former dynasty accompany the emperor daily to write poetry, with their gentle words. Over time, when the emperor sees you group of crude men again, won't he also feel those days were too dark, and shouldn't be mentioned? When the birds are gone, the bough is hidden. When the rabbits are caught, the hounds are cooked. You've heard these sayings. If one day, the emperor also finds you old officials an eyesore, and wants to replace you with a bunch of refined men, my lord, won't your heart grow cold? Think from my perspective. I suffered with you for 26 years. We survived trials by fire together. Now, for the sake of a thing like her, you want to dig up my roots and pierce my heart? My lord, how can you be so heartless? Get back to your courtyard. Don't come out without my word. Madam, from now on, all these matters are for you to manage. My lord, you want to take concubines? I will let you. You want to enjoy yourself? I will let you. But there is one rule. Don't you dare touch my roots. The duke neglected Lady Zhou for a few days, but he really couldn't stand the longing. In the dead of night, he crept back into her bed. The next day, when Lady Zhou came to pay her respects, her words were filled with hidden provocations. This is Lady Yang, and this is Lady Huang. They are just like you, former noble women. Now that their families have met with disaster, they've fallen into the mud. But the duke has always been kind-hearted, pitying their lonely and helpless state. He has brought them into the manor. From now on, you are sisters. You must get along well. The identities of Yang and Huang were beautified by me. They were indeed daughters of officials, but not noble ladies. Lady Yang was from the Guan family. Because she was a daughter, her family couldn't afford to raise her past a few years old, so she was sold into the red light district for a high price. Lady Huang's origin was even more distinguished, a princess of a former tributary state. After her family was destroyed, she could only fall into the world of pleasure. Both were raised in the flower districts. They learned every seductive trick in the book. They can sing and dance with peerless skill. When asked to play courtesans, they are charming to the bone. When asked to play noble women, they are immediately dignified and reserved. Seeing two even more outstanding competitors, Lady Zhou bit her lip in frustration. Naturally, she had no time to challenge me anymore. I began to buy myself a massive amount of jewelry and accessories. I had new clothes made, and bought manors and farmlands. Whatever was most extravagant, I did it. At the Baibao Pavilion, a century-old shop in the capital, they had a new kingfisher feather headdress. I bought it without even blinking. Madam, take it easy. Ever since the 3 concubines entered the house, money has been flowing out like water. If you keep spending like this, next month we might be starving. Nurse, you are wrong. If I don't spend this money, others will spend it for me. They stole my man, and are spending money that should belong to me and my children. In the future, they might even take over the household and steal my position. So why should I bother saving? The concubine of the Liu family met me head-on at the Baibao Pavilion. We both took a liking to this classic kingfisher feather phoenix hairpin. Who wouldn't want to be surrounded by servants and draped in gold and silver? Lady Yun, currently putting on such grand airs, was just a low-born girl a year ago. Exiled as a slave or a servant, she was a pitiful daughter of a minor official begging for shelter. Miss, this headdress. I bought it. Madam, please buy something else. You are just a lowly slave serving as a concubine. How dare you act so arrogant before me? You serve as a concubine to the Marquis of Xinghua. You tormented the first wife to death and thought you could sleep easy. But in the end, it was all for nothing. This is the retribution for your arrogance. Enjoying being a concubine, are you? You've completely disgraced all the scholars in the world. No wonder I look down on that bunch of so-called civil officials. On the surface, they act with righteous indignation, constantly talking about morality, benevolence, and shame. One day they say some official is crude. The next day they say some marquis is a nouveau riche. But then they turn around and gift concubines to these very men, even sending their own daughters. Then they have their daughters fight the first wives for power. Their intentions are clear as day. Lady Yun's housefighting skills were no less than Lady Zhou's. Unfortunately, both her father's and mother's families were criminals. Even if she killed the first wife, she could never be elevated to that position. After Lu Cheng's son failed to gain a high position, he also started to care about what the civil officials thought of him. He thought that by taking the daughter of an official, he could wash away his crude and nouveau riche image. Little did he know that those scholars, arrogant to the bone, had total disdain for martial men. Etiquette is both a reasonable form of suppression and a survival wisdom. This Lady Yun has truly good luck. Right after the new wife entered, she received a blessing from Master Yuantong of Hugua Temple, who said she brought fortune to her husband. Lu Cheng, who was incredibly superstitious, believed it without a doubt. He promoted Lady Yun's status everywhere. Relying on this fortune-bringing charm, Lady Yun is almost on equal footing with the new wife. Now she's even bringing her arrogance before me. Can I tolerate her? I not only gave her 2 slaps, but I also drove a wedge between her and the new marquis's wife. That trick of yours about bringing fortune, it only fools an idiot like Lu Cheng. If you think you can fool the new wife, you're naive. Lady Yun's revenge came that very night. You, get out here right now. What do you think you are? Daring to slap my beloved concubine in public? Even I wouldn't dream of laying a finger on her. Old Lu. Calm down, calm down, calm down? To hell with that. You village woman. If I don't deal with you today. My name isn't Lu. Old Lu. You know how crude and fierce my wife is. For my sake, please forgive her this once. Duan Qing, are you still a damn man? If you can't control your woman acting wild outside, I'll do it for you. Fine. I'll discipline her later. Duan Qing, oh Duan Qing. Back when we were killing enemies together, you weren't like this. She's at this age and still wearing such flashy jewelry. Doesn't she look in a mirror? Is she even worthy? If you ask me, you should divorce this woman. Later, I'll introduce you to some truly high-born, noble young ladies. They're fresh and won't embarrass you when you take them out. What, you can't let go? Treating a village woman like a treasure? Which of our old brothers hasn't replaced their wife several times? Only you stick with this yellow-faced old woman. Isn't it pathetic? In that one glance, I understood. It wasn't protection. He was ashamed that I was embarrassing him. Fine. For old Duan's sake today, I won't do it myself. Old Duan, you do it. Old Duan, you know my temper. You spendthrift creature. How dare you touch the people of the Lu family? Let today's small lesson be a reminder for you. Father, have mercy. Though mother was wrong. Marquis Jingua, it was my fault. I was wrong. I won't dare do it again. Please, for Lingling's sake, forgive me. Mother, Lu Cheng is a mad dog, and he kills without blinking. Lingling, that poor woman who was tortured to death by Lu Cheng. That day, she held my hand and told me 4 words, live a good life. The name Lingling is like a thorn, pierced into his already rotten heart. Fine, seeing that the heir's filial piety is commendable, I'll spare your mother. Most of our old brothers have replaced their wives with concubines. Only you are lucky to meet a soft-hearted man like old Duan, and you still don't appreciate it. You're simply asking for death. What are you hiding for? Didn't you cause this mess today? Why did you have to provoke Lady Yun? She's publicly recognized as bringing fortune to her husband. Lu Cheng is incredibly superstitious. How could he not treasure her? You are a duke. Yet you let a mere marquis climb all over you? To make him calm down, you hit your own first wife? Is that honorable? He clearly has no respect for you. Lu Cheng is a mad dog. You know that. I only hit you for show. If he hadn't calmed down, who knows what trouble he would have caused. Enough. Go back to your room and stay there. Don't embarrass me any further. Mother. Qingya, I want Lu Cheng to be ruined. To fall from heaven into hell. I've wanted Lu Cheng dead for more than a day or 2. When Lingling took her last breath, I was holding her hand. She wanted me to live well. And finally, she said 2 words, revenge. Duan Qing's slap today was the final straw. I know it's not easy to kill Lu Cheng, but where there's a will, there's a way. I called Qingya and Qingping to my side and discussed it for several days and nights. After Lu Cheng suddenly became noble, all his faults surfaced. Treating human life as grass, he dominated the southwest and committed 1,000 crimes. Complaints against him inside and outside the court are like mountains. The civil officials have long been dissatisfied. The emperor, troubled by these men's founding merits, doesn't want to be accused of killing the hounds once the rabbits are caught. He could only lift his hand high and let it down gently. But what if we add the power of the civil officials? The eldest son, Qingya, was responsible for finding someone to contact Lingling's 2 children. They were living in fear under Lu Cheng's nose, waiting for just one spark. Those imperial censors. Impeach my father for being crude all day long. The fourth son, Ping, specifically chose places where the censors frequent, to shout loudly. The one who truly deserves death is Marquis Jinghua, who favors concubines and destroys the first wife, forcing his first wife to her death, yet they've all gone silent. I then went to the palace to request an audience with the queen. The queen also had a hard life. She accompanied the emperor from horseback to the dragon throne. Now, seeing those favored concubines with their bulging bellies, in the palace, her suffering is much more than ours. I knelt before her, and cried like a child, crying over how Ling Ling died, crying that the old first wives are now all gone. Some died of illness, some were sent back to their hometowns, and some vanished mysteriously. The children they left behind, who should have lived in luxury, and enjoyed the titles brought by their parents, are now neglected, and trampled upon. Back then in the military camp, Ling Ling helped her carry grain and fodder, and brewed medicinal herbs. She hasn't forgotten those days. What do you want to do? I want Lu Cheng's crime of favoring concubines and destroying his wife, to result in the stripping of his title and the destruction of his warrants. This crime won't pin him down. His founding merits are real. The emperor already felt guilty for suppressing his rank earlier. All the indulgence these years has been compensation. Your Majesty, have you thought about it? Why do those civil officials desperately send their daughters to the generals' homes? This is a plot of marrying off daughters as concubines. After Lu Cheng took the daughter of a civil official, how many petitions against him decreased? Those who didn't take concubines are attacked every few days. Why did my Duanqing take Lady Zhou? Wasn't it because he was scared of being impeached? What is the root of a general's power? It is founding merit, and the command of troops for over 20 years through life and death. The civil officials want to dig up this root, and replace it with their own people, their own bloodline. Once all these generals become sons-in-law to the civil officials, who will they listen to, Your Majesty? If one day, the hearts of these generals are no longer with the emperor, or when these generals are all gone, the new dukes, marquises, and earls will all be of the civil officials' bloodline. What do you want me to do? Wait for the impeachment petitions. When they are enough, please personally petition the emperor. You are the queen, the first wife who endured all hardships with the emperor. You speaking for Lu Cheng's first wife is speaking for all the suffering first wives in the world. When the emperor hears it, he will feel guilty not just toward Lu Cheng's wife, but toward himself. I didn't say any more. Some things are best left hinted at. Half a month later, the imperial censors were provoked by Qingping to submit petitions, impeaching Lu Cheng for favoring a concubine and destroying his wife, forcing his wife to her death, letting his servants commit violence and seizing people's land. Lu Cheng sent thugs to corner the censors in an alley and beat them up. This beating caused an explosion of outrage. The stubborn censors wrote petitions through the night, listing dozens of major crimes in detail, scolding Lu Cheng from head to toe. Then, the drums at the Shantian prefecture rang thunderously. Lu Cheng's two sons sued their biological father and his favored concubine for conspiring to force their mother to her death. Witnesses and physical evidence were all present. Lu Cheng was under fire from all sides. That day, Duanqing locked himself in the study to write a petition. Through the door, I heard him cursing all afternoon. Damn it. Those sour scholars just can't stand seeing us generals doing well. When we were conquering the world, putting our heads on the line, they were hiding in the rear writing poems. Now that we've had a few days of peace, they're jealous. Your Uncle Lu even let you ride on his shoulders when you were little. You ungrateful brat. Coming here to force you to hit my mother. The debt of a mother's suffering is irreconcilable. As a husband, father didn't stand up for my mother, but instead beat his own first wife to please an outsider. Such behavior, how noble is it? What the hell do you know? Lu Cheng is a mad dog. He's incredibly petty and vengeful. If I hadn't hit your mother then, how could I have calmed him down? Qingping, you don't know Lu Cheng's temper. Now he's trapped in his manor and can't come out. But if he found out you were the one connecting people behind his back, would he let you off? If he really comes to our door, we'll just say, it was you, the head of the house, who made them do it. You're actually trying to frame me? So, to prevent Lu Cheng from retaliating later, I suggest the Duke immediately submit a petition to control Lu Cheng. He harbors resentment and has already shown disloyalty. A witness? Is the deathbed confession of the former Lady Lu enough? You're trying to completely destroy old Lu. From the day he forced Ling Ling to death, I've wanted his life. He came to our home and humiliated me for a lowly concubine. I think about how to kill him every single moment. When did you become so petty and vengeful? Haven't you changed too? After becoming a duke, you became arrogant. Surrounded by girls of 15 or 16. I am now the Duchess, after all. Naturally, I should be high and mighty, and disregard all personal ties. Those who follow me prosper, those who oppose me perish. Duke, write it quickly. Lu Cheng must die. First, to avenge the humiliation of your wife and children. Second, it can cover up the fact that you were a coward. By then, you can claim to the world that Lu Cheng went too far. forcing you to hit your own wife for a lowly concubine. Who in the world does such a thing? You can say you were tolerant toward him, for the sake of your old camaraderie, but he actually thought you were a pushover. Third, once Lucheng falls, the military power in his hands must be taken over by someone. Rest assured, you did it to protect your wife, and to seek justice for the first wife. Scholars value this the most. Once the reputation of the Duke protecting his wife spreads, the civil officials will look up to you. My classmates at the academy respect those who are righteous and loyal. On the night the petition was submitted, it spread throughout the palace and beyond. Duanqing, that crude man, is actually quite sentimental. Lucheng went too far, forcing even an honest man to get desperate. Although Lucheng hasn't been punished yet, Duanqing's reputation has indeed turned around. Madam, that day, I was in the wrong. When Lingling died, she held my hand and said revenge. She didn't say how to get it. I know some blades must be wielded through other people's hands. That night, the emperor went to the queen's palace. The queen wept before the emperor, pouring out her heart with indignation. Starting from carrying grain in the army back then, she spoke of how virtuous Lady Lu was, how much she suffered, and how she was tormented to death. She spoke of how the first wives in the world suffer, how generals forget their roots, and how heartbreaking it is. What lies behind the marriages between civil and military officials? I take the liberty. Please, your majesty, for the sake of all suffering first wives, seek justice. The next morning during the audience, the imperial decree came down. Marquis Jinghua, Lucheng, for favoring a concubine and destroying his wife, forcing his wife to her death, is to have his military command and warrants stripped. He is demoted to a commoner, never to be employed again. Lady Yun, to be beaten to death. Others who similarly favored concubines, destroyed their wives, or remarried and neglected their families, were likewise severely reprimanded. Not only were they fined 3 years' salary, but they were also forced to mourn for their first wives for a year. Madam, Lucheng has fallen. Yes, madam. Why aren't you happy? Happy about what? Lucheng has fallen. Nurse, what do you think Duanqing is thinking right now? Lingling, did you see that? Duanqing has been incredibly well-behaved lately. The news of the emperor punishing the nobility is getting tighter by the day. He comes to my room to check in every day. I made him sleep on the couch in the outer room. Madam never used to mind me. Recently, I invited several scholars into the manor to give lectures. Watching those scholars who are refined and reserved, gentle and handsome, eloquent, and literate, I feel like I've become younger. Then look at you. Madam, you can actually use so many idioms now. My father was at least a scholar, and our ancestors produced a successful candidate for the imperial exam. Just because I lived as a crude person for 26 years with you, doesn't mean the heritage of a scholarly family is broken. Over these years, I followed you through battles in the south and north, bore children, and served your parents, but I never put down my books. Now that I'm the Duchess, I must keep up with the times. Yue, I suddenly realized that your style is no less than those noble women of the former dynasty. Fine clothes make the man. I can't lose face for the Duke. Yue, I've noticed that you've been quite distant with me lately. I should be the one saying that. Ever since Lady Zhou entered the house, the Duke hasn't treated me as he did before. Yue, you used to call me big brother. Since when did we become so estranged? People always change. Yue, the moonlight outside my window is just right. He used to lean in and call me that too. Sister Yue, saying that once he succeeded, he'd make me a titled lady. Now I have the title, but that name Yue, I no longer want to hear it. Lucheng has fallen. The day the news spread, Duanqing's study was crowded with people. Old Duan, the emperor is about to discard us now that the work is done. What should we do? The emperor hasn't even done anything yet. And you're already panicking? Old Duan, as a man, you let a mere woman boss us around? I say, old Joe, you forced your first wife to death just to marry a noble lady, and you won't let anyone speak of it? Never mind forcing your first wife to her death, but the child was your own flesh and blood. As soon as your favorite concubine entered, you sent the child back to your hometown. A 15-year-old boy, as strong as a bull. He died shortly after returning home. They said he couldn't adjust to the environment, and only you believed it. That child was spoiled by his mother. I couldn't control him. Old Joe, have you been feeling backaches lately? Frequent urination at night? Lack of energy? How did you know? It's normal to get old. Yes, no one can escape birth, aging, illness, and death. Fortunately, your favorite concubine is productive. She gave you a son. When you die, that favorite concubine of yours will be the youngest Duchess in the great Yan dynasty, and your son will be the youngest Duke. Old Joe, toiling for half your life only to benefit others. If I remember correctly, your current wife is the daughter of a former academician. A distant relative of hers is a female doctor in the medical world, who specifically visits various inner chambers. The room full of noble men in fine clothes. All turned pale. They finally showed a bit of fear. I knew all 36 of their first wives. Besides the few who died early, for those still alive, the number of titled ladies can be counted on one hand. It's shocking. I went back to the main courtyard. and had the nurse brew a bowl of health soup. Duan Qing followed me in, trying to start a conversation. What kind of health soup are you drinking? You're only 38, what are you nurturing? Following you in battles back then. I developed many underlying health issues. It's time to take good care of myself. Otherwise, if I die, another woman will come and reap my rewards, spend my money, and bully my children. Madam, you worry too much. Am I, Duan Qing, the kind of person to despise his loyal wife? Even if I die, I will never let those lowly women step on my bones. And enjoy the success. I will surely live until 99. And outlive all you ungrateful people. Madam, I haven't favored a concubine over my wife. It was my fault. I'm not human. I'll go and drive Lady Zhou and the others out of the manor immediately. Am I such an intolerant person? You toiled for half your life. What's wrong with enjoying a few women? That is also their fortune. But one thing, the power of the household, the family properties, and the title of the Duke's manor, must be left to my children. Of course, I'm not that fool old Zhou, working half his life, only to benefit others. Since they've entered the house, they must have ambition. The Duke's title is a prime prize. Who wouldn't want a piece of it? They will eliminate their rivals, deal with the children of the first wife, and then take over. Zhou Hu, Lu Wei. Which one of them isn't like this? I just want to ask, is the Duke afraid? Madam is indeed formidable. You saw through those women's tricks at a glance. After Lu Qing was demoted to a commoner, I knew he would come. I just didn't expect him to come so quickly. Look at what you've done. Now old Lu has come to our door with a blade. How many people did he bring? About 80 or 100. Enough. Go and gather the guards. Are you crazy? That's Lu Qing. Do you dare to kill him in the street? If you don't kill the snake, it will come back to haunt you. I was just looking for him, and he delivered himself to us. But it can't be done in front of everyone, so I'll say I did all of this alone. It has nothing to do with the Duke. From now on, you pretend to be ill. I'll handle everything in the Duke's manor. Pretend you know nothing about what's happening outside. If anyone asks, push it all onto me. Go quickly. Let Lady Zhou serve you well. Make it look convincing. Don't let anyone find out. Then you. Be careful. Duan Qing, get the hell out here. You ungrateful wretch. Commoner Lu Qing. Using personal grudges to offend a duke. Coming to the Duke's manor is an offense punishable by law. Duan Qing, you coward. I saved your life back then. And you send a woman out to kill me? Where's Duan Qing? Does he have the guts to kill me but not to come out? Lu Qing. The day you forced Ling Ling to her death, did you ever think this day would come? It's you. It's you. I went back to the manor and sent a request to the Imperial Academy of Medicine. Call for the finest physician to treat Duan Qing. Drink the sedative and lie down. Don't blow your cover when the Imperial physician arrives. When the Imperial physician arrived, Duan Qing was lying on the bed, his face pale, and his breath weak. It was all due to his old injuries. In his early years, he fought for the Emperor, charging through mountains of blades and seas of fire. He always relied on his youth to push through. He could still get up this morning. But that fool Lu Qing barged into our home. My Duke is sentimental. He was so anxious and angry that he collapsed on the spot. After rewarding the physician, I turned back and went to the palace to seek forgiveness. Lu Qing's men offended the Duke's manor, triggering the Duke's condition. He fell ill immediately. I was flustered and helpless. In a moment of hunger and rage, I ordered the execution of those old fools. I beg your majesty, for the sake of the Duke's lifelong loyalty to you, punish me alone. Those people were far too insulting. Back then, he barged in for the sake of a lowly concubine, and forced the Duke to divorce me. I endured it. But he shouldn't have attacked us when the Duke was gravely ill. Do we loyal wives from the hard times only deserve to suffer with our men, and not enjoy the rewards? Old Duan's success today is largely thanks to your wise help. Lu Qing has always been arrogant. This disaster is of his own making. When I left the palace, I carried Imperial tonic in my arms, and an Imperial physician followed behind me. The news spread throughout the capital that same day. Visitors came in a continuous stream to check on his illness. Those founding heroes, who used to barely nod when they saw me, were now respectfully calling me sister or sister-in-law. Lu Qing lost his entire arm. His body was covered in countless wounds. His condition was not good. I reckon his days are numbered. The new wife he married had long since abandoned He Lishu, taking her dowry back to her parents' home. All his relatives had left as well. Only 2 children were left. How pitiful. People say I'm a heroine who equals any man. They say I'm loyal and righteous in protecting my husband. They say Lu Qing deserved his fate. Not a single person mentioned their envious looks when Lu Qing married his new bride. Besides, who would remember? Previously, they only remembered the vulgarity of the loyal wife, and her annoying, aging face. They never knew that if you push a loyal wife too far, she will take your life. Duan Qing's illness was oddly timed. One imperial physician after another was called, and bowl after bowl of medicine was poured into him, but he grew weaker day by day. Lady Zhou was the most anxious. She almost never left his bedside, brewing the medicine herself, and feeding it to him personally. Duke, I'm scared. The way the madam looks at me. It's like she wants to kill me. Where is my illness? Is it the Duke's beloved favorite? In just 6 months since entering the manor, all the items she took from the storehouse are here. Gold and jade items, antiques from the previous dynasty, and 341 pieces of imperial tribute silk. A single ledger couldn't even hold it all. The silver she took from the accounting room. At first, it was 10 or 20 taels, then 100, then 1,000. In 6 months, it totaled 37,000 taels. 37,000 taels is enough to maintain an entire army. The items Lady Zhou moved out averaged 2 pieces a day. As expected of the daughter of a marquis from the previous dynasty. Compared to her, Lady Yun is nothing. Someone, bring that wench to me. Concubine Zhou, are you pregnant? Madam has a keen eye. I've been vomiting these past 2 days. The nanny said I might be expecting. I wanted to inform the madam, but I was afraid of making you angry. From this day on, beat her to death with clubs. Beat her to death. After Lady Zhou died, Duanqing sent troops to raid the Zhou family. They only recovered less than half of the items. I've fought through life and death with the Duke for 20 years. We were always the ones raiding others' homes. I never expected a woman to raid our foundation. Do you know how my parents died? He remembered. Lady Zhou's father was the Marquis of Dingxi in the previous dynasty. Back then, he bullied the weak, and drove my father-in-law's entire family to death, and he, Duanqing, brought the daughter of his wife's mortal enemy into the manor. He even wanted his wife to treat her well. Duke, leave in peace. Your mission is complete. I've calculated everything. Because of your early death, the Emperor will treat us, the widow and orphans, well. After all, a dead hero puts a monarch more at ease than a living one. Ever since you were titled, I've been thinking of a strategy. How could I let you live to a respectable old age? I had your best interests at heart, yet you constantly broke mine. But this is fine too. Dying early preserves your dignity. I should still thank you. I can finally enjoy my life in peace. I forgot to tell you. What you drank back then wasn't contraceptive soup, but cinnabar. The amount of cinnabar wasn't large. It wouldn't kill him. What truly took his life was that later bowl of medicine with the increased dosage. Back then, my younger sister was tormented to death by the Zhou family. She was 3 months pregnant, and Lady Zhou, who was just an 8-year-old girl then, watched as my sister wailed and died in pain. Duanqing's funeral was exceptionally grand. I handed the arrangements over to my 2 sons. The emperor gave Duanqing much face. During the funeral, he issued a decree, appointing Qingye as the new Duke of Anhua. He even allowed him to participate in the upcoming civil service exam. The emperor's rewards to the Duan family were exceptionally generous. The world said, the emperor indeed favored Duanqing. Only I knew that for a founding hero who survived intact, the best way to keep one's dignity before the emperor is to die early. I racked my brains to preserve his dignity, but he insisted on colluding with those people. So I had to fulfill his dignity, once and for all. I didn't go to the morning hall, but guests coming to visit me were in a continuous stream. They were all people I had befriended over the years. Original wives, second wives, and those who had endured like me. When I appeared in the morning hall, all the guests looked at me at once. Their gazes held respect, testing, and a hint of awe that couldn't be hidden. Everyone, with old Duan gone. It's not convenient for a widow like me to meet you all anymore. However, the gates of the Duke of Anhua's manor are always open for your ladies. No one spoke, but I knew they understood. In the past, we gathered only to cry. Crying over men's betrayal. Crying over our hard lives and our pitiful children. In the future, we can gather to do other things. For example, making those ungrateful people lose sleep. For example, letting those noble ladies who love to reap others' rewards know where the loyal wife's knife is hidden. Ah, I'm going to enjoy my beautiful widow's life now.